Hello students. This video is going to walk you through our syllabus for 7th grade English class. So let's get started. This information in the blue box at the top is just my contact information. This orange section down here is an overview of our class. So I'm going to start with course description on the left here. So this class will last for the first semester until December. You will get 3 brand new classes after winter break for the rest of the school year. We call this class sometimes also English Language Arts. So if you see ELA anywhere, just know they're talking about English class. In this class, we're going to work on improving your reading skills and strategies, writing well-organized pieces of writing, enriching and expanding your academic vocabulary, and learning on our California state standards. We will do different types of writing in class. That's what this talks about. We will write summary paragraphs, essays, stories. We will also write for different purposes. We will write narrative, argumentative, fiction, and nonfiction. Those are different purposes for writing. Reading is also a big chunk of this class. You will keep a log of reading that you do outside class, and you will also reflect on what you read. So that was just a quick description of our class. This box over here is all about our distance learning schedule. So you probably know a little bit about this already, but I'm going to tell you again. We have one live class session for at least 30 minutes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Mondays, except for the first day of school that was live, every Monday moving forward is called an asynchronous day. And what that means is that you just log into Google Classroom and you do work on your own. So advisory is always synchronous. That means you will always be live with your advisory teacher for advisory period. Just note that my Google Meets for our class will start at the beginning of the period. So period 1, actually I don't teach a period 1, I have prep period 1. Period 3 will start at 10:05. That's what time period 3 students need to be logged on to our Google Meet. Period 5 will start at 11:30. So that's when period 5 needs to be logged on to their Google Meet. And then in our afternoon, this is office hours time, except for Wednesdays. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, teachers have office hours. That's time for you to ask them any questions. They might set up a meeting to talk to you, to support you with something that's going on in class. So that's what office hours are for. This box down here tells you a little bit more about office hours. If you are struggling with class, contact me. I'm here to help you. Please note that I will only respond to messages during office hours. What this means is that if you send me an email at 8 o'clock at night, I'm going to wait until the next day, until we're technically in school, to respond. So I will only respond to messages during office hours. That's 1:45 to 3:29 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The other time, I'm teaching or I'm doing other work. So how to reach me during office hours, you can send me an email from your Gmail. You can send me a chat message from your Gmail and say, hey, Miss Lindgren, can I talk to you during office hours? I'll say, how do you want to meet? We can set up a Google meeting if you want to talk in person, or we can just continue to email or chat if that works for you. This last section here is about course materials and technology. So what you need for this class is your Chromebook, you need a charger, and you need to have a reliable internet connection. So try to keep your Chromebook charged. It will help you be ready for class. Also, keep in mind that you're responsible for your Chromebook. So if it gets damaged, then you're going to have to pay to have it fixed or to replace it. Our textbook is called Springboard, and I will be showing you how to access the online version, so don't worry about your textbook too much. And then this is just a quick note about Google Classroom. So this is your go-to place for class. All of our course information and assignments will be posted on Google Classroom. Starting in September, we should be recording our classes and posting them to Google Classroom so that you can go back and watch them if you need to repeat something. Okay, let's move on to the next section in green. This is called academics. So to start over here, our grading policy for this class, you get one letter grade for each of your 3 classes this semester. And this is how we are going to break up the different types of work. So assignments, that's here in blue, this is worth 45% of your grade. That's all the stuff that we do in class and that you will sometimes do at home. Assessments, that includes any kind of test or quiz or writing like essays. That makes up half of your grade, 50%, that's the red right here. So it's really important to prepare and do your best on assessments. Your reading makes up about 5% of your grade. That's the orange or yellowish piece right here. So that's your reading log, which you'll find out more about, and then reflecting on what you read. This next part down here is a grading scale. This is just shows you the difference between all of the letter grades that students get for their classes and what percentage you need that will get you these different grades. Absences and late work. So if you miss class, it is your responsibility to review the materials posted in Google Classroom and complete assignments from any days that you missed. There is no penalty. That means your grade will not go down at all for work turned in late, as long as it's turned in before the end of the quarter. After grades have been submitted for the quarter, no points can be awarded for late assignments. So I will always give you a heads up and say, hey, next Friday is the last day of the quarter. So that's your deadline to get in any work that you don't have turned in already. That was just an example. I've got a tip here with this light bulb. So lessons and assignments build on each other. This means it's important to do them in order and make up any work that you miss before moving on to new work. Otherwise, you will fall behind. So if you were absent a day, it's really important that you do the work from the day that you missed before you try to do the new work from the day that you're back in class. So a little bit about viewing your grades. I recommend that you check your grades frequently and ask me any questions. So I will share more information with you about how to get on Student View. Student View is the portal that students use to check their grades. This is a link to the student portal, which has a link to Student View. Parents and guardians use something called Parent View. From there, they can see students' grades and they can also email teachers. This last piece over here, still in the academic section, is called Academic Honesty. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. I will give you a summary. So this talks about plagiarism and cheating. What plagiarism is if you copy the words of someone else, either from the internet or from a book, and you submit it as your own writing. So you are allowed to use the words of other authors or writers, but you have to give them credit. And we'll show you how to do that in class. But just know that you cannot use other people's writing without saying who wrote it. This also talks about cheating. That's receiving any kind of help that is not allowed by your teacher to improve your score on a test. And this outlines the consequences for plagiarism and for cheating. I just want to say quickly that if you copy someone else's writing or cheat on an assessment for the first time, this is what will happen. I will notify your people at home, your parents or your guardians. I will also notify your counselor. You can also get a 0 on that assessment or that assignment. This can also impact your citizenship grade, which I'll talk about in a second. This can also possibly get you a referral to administration. That's just for the first time. So my advice to you, don't cheat, don't copy anyone else's writing. Remember, we'll talk about how to properly use other people's writing and cite them in your own writing. So let's move on to our behavior and citizenship section. So our class rules, our big rules are here. Be respectful, be responsible, be safe, and be a learner. So these are some examples of what it means, what it looks like to be respectful. You show respect by paying attention, by only letting one person speak at a time when you're in a Google Meet, using only kind facial expressions if your video happens to be on, and of course, using only kind and positive language. So these are just some examples of how we can show respect. To show responsibility, you can be on time, be ready to work, complete assignments when they are due. You can dress appropriately for school. Again, that only matters if we are in person or if your video is on for your class. And only post things that are school appropriate. You can show safety. Let a parent or guardian at home know if you're joining a Google Meet. That's always a good thing to do. Use only school-approved websites on your Chromebook, and be careful what you post online. I just want to say a little bit about this. So your Chromebooks belong to the school, and teachers can see everything that you're doing on there. So you need to be careful what websites you go to. You need to be careful what you post online, because there's always a way to track what you have posted. And lastly, be a learner. So show that you care about your learning. Give your best effort. That just means try your best. Think positively. Don't get down on yourself if you don't understand something. Stay focused on the task, and always ask questions if you need help. Okay, moving on to our online class norms. So these are behavior expectations for using Google Meets. So what I want you to do is keep your mic muted unless I call on you. This just helps get rid of any background noise that's going on behind you. It makes it easier for all of us to hear. You're only going to use the chat in Google Meets if you have a question for me. I want you to speak loudly and clearly so we can hear you when you unmute your mic to share a response. Of course, we only use kind words. And I want you to try to limit what distractions are around you in your workspace. So keep your phone on silent. Don't look at your phone while you're on class. Try not to be eating. Make sure if you have siblings or pets that they're not going to bother you while you're in live class. So that's what I mean by distractions. These are our consequences if students violate any rules or norms of our class. So step 1, student will be given 2 verbal or written warnings. That could be a chat message, it could be an email message, it could be on a Google Meet. So you get 2 chances. Well, I will give you a warning and say, hey, for example, you need to keep your mic muted in class. Step 2, we will have a conversation one-on-one during my office hours that will happen live over Google Meets. And also I will send a message to whoever is at home for you via email or via Blackboard. Step 3, if the issue continues, for example, if the student is still not keeping their mic muted in class and it's causing a distraction, this will be a student detention, which will happen during office hours, where you will be completing a written reflection form. I will also be calling home to let your parents or guardians know what's going on. Step 4, this will be another meeting with me, with you, and with a parent or guardian to determine what we are to do next. If the issue continues, step 5 is a referral to your counselor or to administration. Okay, a quick note about tardies. So you will be marked tardy if you are late to our Google Meets. Make sure you're logged in and that your mic is muted when our period starts. So 5 tardies in 1 quarter can possibly result in a change in your citizenship grade to needs improvement or unsatisfactory for the quarter. Our next section here is about substitute teachers. So no matter who is leading our class, you should always follow our rules and norms and of course show them respect. If I am unable to be with you, I expect you to treat the person in charge with the same respect that you would give me. If you misbehave for a substitute teacher, they will be tracking your name. They will write it down. The first time will result in detention during my office hours and a phone call home. If it continues to happen, this can affect your citizenship grade for the quarter and could possibly result in a referral as well. So I've been mentioning citizenship grade a couple times, and here's what I mean. So in addition to getting a letter grade for academics, you also get a citizenship grade each quarter. So these are based on your behavior and participation. So the highest citizenship grade you can get is an O, that stands for outstanding. These are all of the things that students need to do in order to get an O. So this means that students are always respectful, you're assisting other students in the class, you're encouraging positivity in your classmates, you're always on time, you don't have any absences or tardies, and you don't have any uniform or dress code violations. That won't really apply in distance learning since we cannot see our cameras. Satisfactory is the next step for citizenship, and we mark that with an S. This is just the default citizenship mark. What that means is that all students just start out with a satisfactory, and if you go above and beyond and you do these things, you can earn an O. And if you do less, you can earn the next two down, which is an NI for needs improvement or a UN for unsatisfactory. So satisfactory is like the basic expectations. This means that students are respectful, you're following expectations, you are regularly on time and prepared, and you're following our school-wide expectations for uniform and dress code. So needs improvement means that the student is usually respectful, but you've needed some redirection, maybe some warnings a couple times. It could also mean that you have up to 4 tardies. Possibly if you get that 5th tardy, that can drop you down to an unsatisfactory. So what the UN, unsatisfactory, means is that you are consistently, that means pretty frequently, you're being disrespectful, you're disrupting, you're breaking our class rules and norms. It could also mean that you have engaged in plagiarism or cheating, those two things that I talked about, academic dishonesty. So those are things that students do that will get them an UN for their citizenship grade for the quarter. Okay, we're almost done, you guys. Lastly, I just want to say, here are some tips to be a successful digital learner. You are all digital learners this semester. So I recommend that you attend our class Google Meets from a quiet place where you can focus. It's really important to choose a location that will meet your needs. So somewhere you won't have any distractions, somewhere you can plug in your Chromebook if you need to. It's really important that you're able to focus when we're live. Another tip, read all assignment directions carefully. It's hard to listen to your teacher talk on a computer for so long, and they will post directions on Google Classroom, but you've got to read those carefully because those are there to support you in case you missed something that your teacher said. Another tip, check your email every day for important messages from teachers. I cannot say how important this is to check your email. You will miss a lot of things if you do not read your email. Also, keep track of time. This is a big one, and assignment due dates. So make sure that you have a way, whether it's looking at your phone or you wear a watch, you want to set an alarm on your phone or your watch to make sure you log into your classes on time. And also keep track of those due dates. You can look at your Google Calendar and that will show you due dates that come from Google Classroom. I can show anyone how to do that if you need to know how to do that. Or also consider maybe writing a daily to-do list or keeping a planner or an agenda to help you write down when things are due so that you don't miss assignments. And lastly, as always, I say this a lot and I'll keep saying it again, ask for help if you don't understand something. That is so important to do. So this note down here is for your parents or guardians. So they are required to complete the Google form that counts as our signature for the syllabus. You'll see that in the other assignment on Google Classroom. So students, please make sure that you show your parents the syllabus and that you show them this box. This just gives them some instructions about how they can contact me if they don't have email. Okay, so that's it for the syllabus. Thanks for listening.